Hi everyone, welcome to Mastering Your Courses, a guide to meeting the 2019 coursework requirements. My name is Emily Egan and I am the Manager of Program Standards at ACLP, and I'll be facilitating this webinar today along with Amy Enright, our Director of Certification. So we have a few objectives that we want to cover today in our webinar. The first is develop. So we want participants to develop their understanding of each of the individual 2019 coursework requirements. Secondly, we hope you leave here understanding. So we want you to understand what endorsed and course pre-approval are and their impact that they have on your certification eligibility. And lastly, we want you to discover. So discover the resources that are available to you and that can really help you navigate this process through ACLP. So with that, I'm going to kick it to Amy Enright, and she's going to lead us off here.
Thanks, Emily. I'm Amy Enright, Director of Certification for ACLP. I'd like to start with a little bit of background. The Child Life Certification Commission, or CLCC, conducts a job analysis study roughly every 5 years in order to keep the certification exam relevant to current child life practice. In 2013, in conjunction with the job analysis, a working group of CCLSs who are subject matter experts assembled to review the eligibility requirements and to assess whether applicants who met the requirements would have the knowledge and skills needed to be an entry-level practitioner. The new requirements are a byproduct of their efforts and the 2013 job analysis. Today, I'm only going to address the coursework requirement, but it's important to note that there are also degree and clinical experience requirements that will be in effect. The degree requirement is not changing, but the number of clinical internship hours required is increasing to 600. For more details on all the requirements, please see the candidate manual, which you'll find on our website. The new coursework requirement is often referred to as 7 and 3. That's because there are 7 specific courses and 3 additional courses required. The latter must be related to child life, but there is greater flexibility for those, while the former are very specific. A minimum of 1 full course must be completed for each of the areas of study that are required. For child development, the minimum required is 2 full courses. What does a full course mean? It means that the primary focus of the course must be on the required area of study. For example, a student takes a course that covers therapeutic play in 1 or 2 class sessions with the balance of the class devoted to other child life related content. This course cannot be used to satisfy the play requirement because play is not the primary focus. Along a similar vein, if there's a course that covers both play and another required content area, the course cannot be used to satisfy both requirements. Each of the 10 required courses must be unique. It's also important to note that when you complete your eligibility assessment, you'll be required to submit official transcripts and university-generated course descriptions. And in some cases, we may also ask for a course syllabus. Let's go through the required topics individually. All applicants for the exam must take a minimum of 1 child life course taught by a CCLS covering 6 required areas of study. These are scope of practice, family-centered care, therapeutic play, preparation, the impact of illness, injury, and health care on patients and families, and child life documents. Applicants must have received instruction in each of these areas. If they're not all covered in 1 course, applicants will have to take additional courses. The child life course requirement is staying largely the same, with 1 addition. Beginning in 2019, the CCLS instructor must have a minimum of 4,000 hours of paid child life clinical experience, or must have a minimum of 2 years teaching child life curriculum. This is being required so that applicants receive instruction from someone more knowledgeable in child life practice, as opposed to a brand new CCLS. As I said, applicants are required to take a minimum of 2 child development courses. The entire age range of birth to 18 must be covered. If If this range is not covered by 2 courses, additional coursework must be taken. So you may have to take 3 courses to completely cover the age range. These classes must focus on typical growth and development. And courses that focus on or cover adulthood and seniors do not count. Therefore, no lifespan development courses will be accepted. Here are some examples of course combinations that would be accepted. A course on early childhood covering birth to age 8, and a course covering middle childhood and adolescence ages 9 to 18. Or 3 courses, one on early childhood, one on middle childhood, and one on adolescence. Example 3 is one course that covers the whole age range from birth to 18, and a second child development course that focuses on a more specific age range, such as infancy or adolescence. And finally, 2 courses covering birth to 18. This is not preferred since the student would be exposed to the same level of depth on the subject in both courses, but it will be accepted. Next up is family systems. This course must have a systems approach focus, for example, family systems theory or an ecological approach. This slide shows some elements that CLCC recommends be included in the family systems course. It includes things like theories related to the functioning of the family dynamics, the interrelationships within the family unit, family roles, and the exploration of current research on family systems. Play is an integral part of what child life specialists do, and it's so important for children undergoing challenging events like hospitalization. The play course should focus on the therapeutic aspects of play. This slide gives some examples of acceptable and unacceptable content for the play requirement. Ideally, the play course would cover all ages from birth to 18. The next requirement is for a full course on death and dying, or loss and bereavement. This requirement is pretty straightforward. Many colleges and universities offer this curriculum as a separate course. Research. The research requirement is the last of the 7 part of 7 and 3. Applicants must have a specific course on research. Generally, any course with research in the title will be accepted. If the course does not have research in the title, then it must be demonstrated that the learning objectives of the course include basic research methods that apply to clinical practice and program review. Moving on now to the 3 of 7 and 3, the 3 additional courses. It's highly recommended that these 3 courses be in ethics, human anatomy and physiology, and medical terminology. The current commission and the working group who defined the 2019 requirements believe that these 3 courses will help best prepare a student for the exam and for a career in child life. However, we will accept other courses that are closely aligned with the certification exam blueprint. Here's a list of university departments from which we will accept courses for the 3 additional required courses. Any course from these listed departments will be accepted. They're child life, child development, family development, human development, family dynamics, psychology, counseling, expressive therapies such as music and art therapy, and therapeutic recreation. However, recreation administration courses are not accepted. This slide shows the areas of study that may be accepted. Applicants wanting to use a course from one of these departments must provide a course syllabus for review. Some courses from these departments will be accepted, but many may not. I strongly recommend that students who are interested in establishing eligibility share the candidate manual with their school's academic advisor when making their course selections. You'll find the candidate manual in the certification section of ACLP's website. I recognize that this is a lot of information, and I'm always available to answer your questions. You can contact me in the ACLP office. And for now, I'm going to turn it over to Emily, who's going to talk about our pre-approval and endorsement processes.
So what does it mean if a program is ACLP endorsed? Well, endorsement is a voluntary review process that's intended to evaluate, enhance, and recognize academic programs. So endorsed programs are programs that have been reviewed by ACLP. So programs that do earn endorsement are able to provide their students with the assurance that their coursework will count towards certification eligibility. Students graduating from an endorsed program still need to complete an eligibility assessment. They need to demonstrate that they've taken and passed the required coursework, but they have that assurance that should they do that, their coursework will count towards the coursework requirements. So what does it mean if a course is ACLP pre-approved? Well, pre-approval is a new service that ACLP has launched, and it's like endorsement but just on a course level. So it means that the course was reviewed by ACLP. If a course has earned ACLP pre-approval, then students again have that assurance that if they take and pass that course, it's going to count towards certification eligibility. So students who take pre-approved courses, again, just like students who graduate from endorsed programs, they still need to complete an eligibility assessment because they need to demonstrate that they've taken and passed that course at that university. So we know that there's a lot of information here in completing your coursework requirements, but we're happy to share that we have a lot of resources available to help you navigate these. My favorite 3 resources are our directories. So through the ACLP website, you can find the Academic Program Directory, the Child Life Course Directory, and the Endorsed Program Directory. The first directory, the Academic Program Directory, is going to help you identify programs that have self-identified as offering academic programs in child life. Similarly, our Child Life Course Directory is going to help you find institutions that have let us know that they offer the Child Life course. Lastly, our Endorsed Program Directory is going to help you find an institution that is ACLP endorsed, where you can complete the coursework requirements. We hope these resources help you navigate the coursework requirements. So as we begin to wrap things up, we just wanted to cover some frequently asked questions because we know these are top of mind for you as you navigate these coursework requirements. So the first is, how will I know if my course is approved and going to count towards the coursework requirements? Well, the first and easy answer is if you take an ACLP pre-approved course, or if you graduate from an endorsed program, then you have that assurance that your coursework is going to count towards the certification coursework requirements. If you don't take pre-approved coursework or graduate from an endorsed program, then we really recommend that you take an in-depth look at the candidate manual and you take that to your program's academic advisor to help identify courses that are aligned with our requirements. The overarching process that's going to let you know whether your courses are approved or not is called the eligibility assessment. And you'll need to complete an eligibility assessment in order to meet the requirements. For more information on completing an eligibility assessment, please take a look at our Eligibility Assessment 101 webinar. The second question that we often hear is, how long will it take for my courses to be reviewed? Again, that process of reviewing the requirements, specifically the coursework requirements, is called the eligibility assessment. And typically that process takes about 2 weeks from when we receive your official transcripts. For more information on how long that process takes and how to complete that process, again, we really recommend checking out our eligibility assessment webinar. Lastly, where can I find courses to take? Our website is a rich resource for you, and it has lots of things available to help you identify where you can take these courses. Be sure to check out the directories that I mentioned earlier, as these are going to be a great resource to identify where to take the courses. Thank you all for joining us today. We really hope this webinar has been informative and will help you meet all the 7 and 3 of the 2019 coursework requirements. As you continue along your journey towards certification, please be sure to check out that eligibility assessment webinar. That's going to be a really helpful next step for you. We know that as you continue to work through all this process that you'll have questions. So we've listed our contact information below. Please don't hesitate to reach out with any questions that you have. And thank you again for joining us today.